All right, good deal. Welcome, guys. As you know, I'm Angela, and tonight we are here to talk about the healthcare opportunity or option that we have with Young Living. So I've been with Young Living for 10 years, and last year, in the beginning of 2024, we created a partnership with Clearwater, which is the company that provides the healthcare. So I'll be sharing a lot of details about that tonight. Thanks for joining us. My family started using this instead of traditional health insurance in September of 2024 and haven't looked back. We've only had good experiences and it's been really good for us. So, first thing I like to address is what is a health share? So this is a community of individuals that are covering or sharing healthcare expenses that help cover costs when we have medical expenses, whatever they might be. A thing that is unique is that we as members have an annual max when we sign up for the major medical plans, and we choose what that amount would be, and we cover 100% of our costs until we've met that max. And then after that, expenses are shareable. So, like, let's say, for example, I'll share this in a little bit on a few slides. You might choose a $5,000 annual max. If you're typically healthy and you don't have things that might come up, and you're willing to take a risk if you are in a accident or in the hospital or something like that happens, you would pay the first $5,000, and then the rest of it is what would be shared through the group and other premiums, other people's premiums that go into that pool. Who is Clearwater? So there are lots of health share companies. It's something that's been around for decades, but essentially they're a healthcare provider. It was established in 2018 specifically for this company, and it's an option for non-traditional health insurance, and it's a nonprofit. So again, this is a really, I like to kind of clarify some of the things that are differences between traditional health insurance and this, because this is a big one. Not being a nonprofit, it's about the individuals and the people. If you're familiar with health insurance, I used to work in the healthcare industry for 12 years, and I'm very familiar with behind the scenes things and how much of a racket it is. And we won't go down that crazy or I won't get on that crazy soapbox because I could stay on it all night long. But it's a big benefit to having a company that's a nonprofit, because keeping that classification means that there aren't tons of profits being kept in the employee's hands inside the business type of thing, like there is with traditional health insurance. Um, and the reason that Young Living partnered with Clearwater is because we are passionate about really disrupting the healthcare industry, helping to make a change, helping and encouraging and educating people to be more proactive about their health versus reactive. And what are the things and the small steps that we can take or do every day to do that? So here's a little bit of comparison. One thing that I did just talk about is that the health share is a nonprofit. Traditional insurance is a for-profit business, and the goal is to make the people, the management and owners, or executives, as wealthy as possible by denying claims. And in health insurance, there is a high rate of denial that is pretty significant. One of the things that is uh, kind of astounding or crazy to think about is when people file bankruptcy in America, a very large percentage of them are filing bankruptcy because of medical bills and because of claims that have been denied when there's something significant that happens in their family. Um, with traditional health insurance, there is a lot of regulation and oversight. So you would probably have a list of approved providers or a list of approved things that you're allowed to get or do from those providers. With the health share, when you have a need, like if that's chiropractic, you can go to any chiropractor. You don't have to choose from a list. Or if you have a broken arm, you don't have to choose from a list of what doctor you want to go to. The coverage and the pay of what you're going to receive is the same from anybody as long as they're licensed for whatever treatment it is that you're receiving. Um, one of the things that if you're familiar or used to traditional health insurance, is that you might be familiar with a deductible and a copayment or max out of pocket. A deductible is the amount that you're responsible for before your insurance starts helping to pay for it. And then a max out of pocket is another amount where you and your insurance share costs, and then after that, insurance would take over most times at like 100%. With the health share, it's whatever that dollar amount is, and you choose 1,000, 2,500, or 5,000, and it's called an annual max. And again, kind of mentioned on the last screen, you are responsible for that amount up to that amount, and then sharing takes over from that point. Does anybody have any questions on this screen or these details? Okay. Hi, Cheryl. I see that you just
Hi.
joined. Good to see you. This is my family's example. Did I skip a slide? No. Okay, good. So this is my family's example. So from traditional health insurance, we had Regions Health Insurance that we were paying 1,500, 1,560 a month, and a couple of the comparisons and the things that I like because we now have better coverage for a lower price. So when we switched to the health share, our monthly premium went down to $955 a month. And this first example, you can see our chiropractic visits doubled. So we went from 12 visits a year to 24 visits a year. And our deductible also went, so the individual deductible went down a little bit, and then our family deductible and max out of pocket is a little bit different. So you can see that there. But our family, if we had something major happen to multiples of us, wouldn't spend more than $7,500 in a year. And with our old insurance, we could have spent up to $16,300. We never had anything, thankfully, but still, it's like it's better for me to have a lower monthly premium and be able to save money and cover expenses as they come up, but also know that I'm not as liable if something major does happen. We also now, with the coverage that we have the option to go to acupuncture. So we can go to those chiropractic visits. That's 24 in a year. It's 24 visits to a chiropractor or an acupuncturist. I like that option because when I was pregnant with my son, that you can see in that picture, he was overdue. And I went to acupuncture to try to help him exit. And I paid out of pocket. I went 3 times. I think it was like $155 per visit. My insurance didn't cover it. And if I had this coverage, I would have paid $35 and the rest of it would have been taken care of by the health share. So I would have $120 per each of those visits. So that's nice. IV drips is an option if that's something that you are interested in. It's like getting liquid supplements into your bloodstream, and our bodies can absorb them a lot faster. Telemedicine is covered. This is something that is more and more covered on insurance. So for us, free with both. It was included in the monthly premium. But telehealth, that's something that's different. It is part of the plan with the health share. It's all online. You meet with somebody on Zoom. I have 2 friends who have used it. One is using it for more of an ongoing weekly or every other week counseling type of session. And then the other friend, her sister passed away unexpectedly. And so she used it for a little bit of trauma counseling in the beginning to help her through that. And both have had great experiences. They highly recommend it, say it's easy to schedule, easy to get their follow-up appointments, and pretty flexible. So they've been happy with that. And then supplement coverage. Health insurance, again, like we talked about, traditional health insurance is more reactive. Here, take this medication, do this after something's going on, and not necessarily get to the root of the problem. But with the health share, we get reimbursed. Our family gets reimbursed $75 a month for supplements and essential oils from Young Living. If it's an individual policy, it is $50 a month. So this is my family's example, and we'll go into a little bit of detail about that in a minute. But I also want to talk about the chiropractic and acupuncture care. So I'd love to know if any of you that are here go to either of these. Just say which it is. I put it in the comments there. Because so it's part of the holistic plan. We'll talk in a minute about the medical versus holistic. And on the holistic plan, we pay for the services and then we get reimbursed for the amount. So like I go to the chiropractor and I pay for my visit, I get a receipt, I submit it, and then I get reimbursed. It's reimbursement up to $175 per visit. Now, if you're going to the chiropractor, then you know that that is not the normal price of just a regular adjustment. But if you need x-rays or if your chiropractor has other add-on services like massage. My chiropractor has, I think it's red light therapy treatment that she's bringing in. That's my chiropractor in the picture there. Obviously, that's me and my kids as well. But that is something that is all covered. And that is very rare for it to be covered by traditional insurance unless a doctor has wrote a prescription or like given you an order because of an injury or something like that. It's not normally covered. It never was covered on my insurance. Even when I tried to get a chiropractor to help get it covered, it was denied. So that's a really big deal, I feel because like I said, in my family, we had 12 visits per person, and now we have 24, but we have significantly better coverage. It was almost like the coverage, I think they only covered like $10 worth of an appointment for like a regular adjustment and then didn't cover any of the add-ons. So that's pretty significant and is a big deal for my family. So cool. You do acupuncture, chiropractic, good stuff. So it's a big one, I feel like, for a lot of people, because it's kind of the thing. If you're doing something to be proactive about your health, those are two of the most common things that you do for a lot of people. So the three different types of plans. There's the Clear Share plan. This is major medical coverage. So if you have a medical emergency or emergency care, so an accident, a hospital stay, something like that. So it's more of your major stuff. The holistic plan, this is for people like we're talking about that go to the chiropractor that want to be proactive about their health, want the supplement coverage. And this can be something that acts as an add-on to other types of more traditional policies. So I have one person that is military and doesn't want to go on the military base for most things. So the holistic is a good option for him. But he doesn't like if he has something major, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go wait. I'll go on base type of thing. This can be an add-on for somebody who's Medicare age. It can, like, if there's somebody who has a traditional job that their company pays for their major medical stuff, but it's really high deductible or doesn't necessarily cover the other types of services, this can still be purchased or had for that type of thing. Or somebody can have a combination of both. And that's what my family has. So we have the holistic and the clear share so that we're covered with both and don't have to worry about it and don't have any other insurance coverage type of thing. And one of the things about the ClearShare is they pretty much cover everything. It's pretty rare that I don't think I've had anybody that has had something that wasn't covered. The only restrictions is that it's not covering pre-existing conditions. So this screen, I'll kind of go through what it does cover. Again, reminder, there's no network. You can choose your doctor. You can go anywhere. Um, Accidents, emergency room visits, hospital services. That's like the clear share part of it, the major medical piece. Your telemedicine and your virtual, that comes with any of the plans for the mental health sessions. Now, care coordination. When you have the clear share, so the major medical, let's say you need like a hip replacement surgery. Care coordination is a department at Clearwater that helps to coordinate those types of things. So let's say, I'll give you an example of a gentleman. He needed a hip replacement surgery. He had picked his doctor and he was going to go have this surgery at the hospital. And the quote for that was going to be $80,000. And so he involved the care coordination department. They did a little bit of research and they found out that his doctor also does surgeries at a local surgery center. And there's a lot of benefits to going to a local or going to a surgery center. Infection rates are less and that kind of thing, but also costs are less. And so the cost of him having the exact same surgery with the exact same doctor at a surgery center was $40,000. So of course he did it. And since he did that and he used the care coordination department and used the service that was recommended, obviously it makes no sense to do anything else, right? He also didn't have to pay his annual max for that service. It was waived. So he paid nothing by using that department and that service. So amazing. I feel like that is there and available for us. Now, if you have traditional insurance, your doctor's office is going to take care of all that stuff for you. They're going to get all the details of what your insurance will cover, what you would have to cover, that kind of thing. And this makes it nice so that it's not in our hands to do that or figure that stuff out because, again, I worked in the medical field. It's pretty complex and challenging to figure those things out and read some of the documents and paperwork. But again, as you can see in the list here, covers pretty much everything. So pregnancy, postpartum care, whether it's a hospital birth, a birth center birth, or a home birth, um, home health care, pain management injections, hormone therapy, medical supplies, nutrition services, international medical treatment. This is a big one. So if you're traveling outside of the US and you need some sort of medical service, like you say you have an emergency, you need to go to the hospital, you're in an accident, whatever it is, you would pay for that. You'd get your receipt and you'd turn it in and you'd get reimbursed for it. So that is a really nice feature because a lot of times, well, I don't know that there's any health insurance that covers anything when you travel. You normally need to buy travel insurance. So I like that one. That's a really nice opportunity to be covered if something happens. Occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and massage therapy. So massage therapy in this category can be covered on the medical side if there's an injury and a doctor writes it. And in that case, it doesn't have to be partnered with a chiropractic visit. So it can be covered on the holistic plans that we were talking about and the medical plans, but the medical plans do require a doctor's note for that. But as you can see, hyperbarics, durable medical equipment, skilled nursing facilities, hospice care, weight reduction. Again, almost anything you can think of. I will take a minute to talk about pre-existing conditions. So pre-existing conditions, and we can talk about them if you have a pre-existing condition, because there can be some that don't follow the normal path. But let's say you or somebody you're looking for coverage for has had cancer or has maybe a surgery, back issues, something like that, that would be considered a pre-existing condition. If you have cataracts, that would be considered a pre-existing condition where if you needed medical treatment for that particular thing within your first 12 months, it would not be covered. After 12 months, is limited coverage, and then it increases after 24 months and after 36 months. I have one friend that I'll share as an example. She had a back surgery. She has some rods and screws in her back, and she also has a medical device that treats pain. And she looked at the comparison. So she looked at what's the cost of traditional health insurance and what's the cost of this. And the monthly premium for the traditional health insurance was so outrageous that she couldn't even fit it into her budget. So she chose to still do this, even though I think she's in her fourth month. She knows that if something happens, she doesn't have coverage for that specific issue. But she's been very proactive about her health. The supplements she's taking every month and the essential oils that she's using, that she does get reimbursed for, have been helping her. So her back. She went and had a doctor assess her before her other insurance ended, and her back should be fine for years to come. So she's like, I'm comfortable taking the risk and actually having a monthly premium that I can afford and that works for me and that type of thing. So I just like to share some of those real life examples that I'm aware of and can give because I don't personally have any of those kinds of things because I haven't had any medical needs. Um, so this first screen here is kind of giving a detailed example of the holistic plan. So as I mentioned, covers either $50 or $75 a month for reimbursement of essential oils or supplements. Primary care visits are covered. So anything on this screen is where it's the holistic plan. So you would pay for the service, get your receipt, submit it, and get reimbursed. So if you did go to any of these types of doctors, naturopath, a doctor of like an traditional MD, osteopathic doctor, anything that is considered like an MD type of doctor, then you would get reimbursed up to $150 per visit. Breast imaging is included. One of the things that I like about this is it allows you to choose if you want to go for a mammogram or thermography. So one a year, and thermography by traditional health insurance is not covered. And it's something that I actually prefer because of less radiation exposure. And so when I had traditional health insurance, I would go for thermography, and I had to pay for it out of pocket. So again, huge benefit to be able to have that and then better availability for having the costs covered. This outlines the chiropractic and acupuncture, again, that it's up to $175 per visit. You cover the first 35 and the rest would be what was reimbursed. The IV drips and then prescriptions. So prescriptions for generic prescriptions are covered at 100%. or reimbursed at 100%. And then preferred or name brands are on a case-by-case basis because obviously there's thousands of them and they're all kinds of different prices. But that's covered under the holistic plan. So you don't have to have something that's major medical and a prescription on the other plan related to that. So you can have, like if you have high blood pressure or something like that, then you can have that. There's a more basic holistic plan. If you're like, I wouldn't go to the chiropractor or acupuncture 24 times in a year, and I'm not in any prescriptions, so I don't need that. I wouldn't use the IV drips. This is an option that I'll show you the pricing in the other screens here, but it's a little bit limited or a lower coverage option if you feel like that would maybe be a better fit for you. So here, plan pricing. This first one is for the medical coverage only. And so what you're looking at here in the first column is what's your age group and then who are you covering? So if it's for you only, then of course you'd be single. But if it's for you and a spouse, then it would be the married and cohabitating. If you have kids, or if you're a family with kids. And then as you scroll over, so you've got into your age range and your type, then you would look at it. So for example, if it is the age range of 40 to 49 and it's a family with kids, and you are okay with having a $5,000 annual max, that's this first column here, then your monthly premium would be $560. This is for the major medical coverage only. And then $2,500 annual max and $1,000 of annual max. So as the annual max that you would cover goes down, your monthly premium goes up. What I've encouraged a lot of people to do is, what are you comfortable and maybe what's a little bit of a stretch, and then if you're saving money off of your current premium, most people are saving $300 to $700 a month, and so I tell people like, hey, how about you put that into a savings account and then build it up so you have it if something happens, and you need to pay for expenses. And I have another friend who she's like, no, I'm good. I just have a credit card. She has the $5,000 annual max, and she's like, I'm comfortable just using the credit card if something comes up. So that's kind of what her plan and situation is. So this one's for holistic only. If you're single, if you're married, and or cohabitating, or a family with kids. So those are the options for that as an add-on, or this is something that I think I mentioned, but people who are Medicare aged, so 65 and older, this can be a good add-on for them as well, instead of getting a different plan. I think here in Washington, a lot of people, they do Medicare with Humana or something? I'm not sure what it is, but I have a friend who offers that, so I should know. Check the comment here. So 64, yes, good question. I'll go to the next screen, so this is a combined screen, but yes, up to age 64. So if you're looking for coverage and you need coverage before you become able to do Medicare, then you would classify in this age 50 to 64 range. And then at age 65, you should be eligible for Medicare. So the only option you would really need is the holistic plan, holistic or holistic savings, to be an add-on to that. It's a good question. Thanks for asking that. And so then here, this was the holistic savings with the medical coverage. So for example, if it's a single person in the age range of 18 to 29, their monthly premium would be $238. As you can see, another benefit for younger people, because the risk is a lot less for younger people, the premium is a lot less. With traditional health insurance, if you're part of a group, it's typically across the board one price. So the younger people have to pay more for the other people that are at risk in that. So it's a good option, a really good option for people who are definitely younger. But I have a guy that's 57 years old, and his plan was with traditional health insurance was $908, and he switched to do the single plan in this age or in this range, and he hasn't been to the doctor in 8 years. So of course he's going to do the $5,000 max. He's had nothing happen, and so he's saving hundreds of dollars a month for his. So it's still good, very good savings for a lot of people that are in the older age ranges. I mean, my family falls in the 40 to 49 range, and we're saving over 600 a month. So still lots of good options there. And then this one is for people who want the full holistic plan, with ClearShare, so the medical and the holistic that gives you the 24 chiropractic or acupuncture visits. Is there anybody, I want to pause here because I know there's a lot on these screens, so you're welcome to take a screenshot. Again, I'll send you the replay so that you can look at them closer and zoom in and pause and that kind of thing. Does anybody have a question or want me to tell you what one of the categories says? No, you guys are easy. Okay. That means I'm explaining it well. I kind of slow down on these screens and try not to talk too fast. And that. So here, I want to explain also the family annual max. So you might remember on my screen, I'm a family of four, but our annual max is not $2,500 per person. It maxes out at 3 times. So our max is 7,500. And that's even if it's a larger family. If I had 6 in my family, it would still be a max of 7,500 at that tier, the $2,500 tier. So this is where my family falls, is that 7,500 there in that middle tier. And so I like to point that out because if it's a individual, it's actually even a little bit less. So if you're a individual on the $2,500 tier, it's actually only 2,000 max. So it's kind of a nice benefit for that in each of those categories. So again, this is for when you have something major medical that happens, and like a hospital stay or a visit, emergency room visit or a surgery or something of that sort. Vision and dental are an option. For my family, we did not do vision. We stayed with our old, sorry, said that backwards. We dental, we didn't do dental. We stayed with our old dental plan because it had a better orthodontic coverage, but we did switch our vision to this coverage and that. So this shows if you want dental only, vision, or a combination of that. So, HSA. So we don't have HSA plans, but I'm going to have to write down who asked that question. It is, remind me, is that you, Cheryl? It says iPhone. You're the one who asked that question? I was looking at my list. So what I'll do is I'll tell you. So it's not a traditional HSA, but there is a specific HSA that you can get that qualifies with this plan. The guy that I was talking about that's 57, who had the $908 policy that was down to 250 or whatever it was. He has that type of plan and is obviously getting the benefit from it. So, oh, it's not Cheryl. Tell me who the iPhone person is. Oh, Chris. Gosh, I wrote you wrong. Okay, there you go. So you have the HSA question. So I'll get you the details on that because I have it via email. And I'll make sure that you have those because it's a really nice option to be able to do that. And if you have if you already have an HSA, you can transition it into this other type. I think it's like something with a D on it, and that, but it's a really nice option. Cool. So how does it work? As I mentioned, it's a combination or it's a collaboration between my company, Young Living, and Clearwater. So the first thing you do is have a customer account set up with Young Living, and then all of it gets connected there to Clearwater. You use your customer number, and that's where you sign up for your health plan. That's where you make the monthly payment. That's where you get the reimbursement and you get the support for any questions or things that you might have. And you make your purchases of your, when you do the holistic plan for essential oils and supplements, you make those purchases through Young Living and get the receipt just like you would anything else and submit it to Clearwater for that reimbursement. So I made my purchase on May 1st, and I submitted the receipt on May 3rd, and I got my reimbursement on May 9th. I was actually just looking at my bank account. It's all electronic, so it just comes into your bank account. I have it all stored into my administrative account thing and my login, and it's super simple. So that's something that I'm always happy to help walk anybody through. So when you sign up for a plan today, it can be activated for June 1st or the 1st of any month following. So it could be June 1st, July 1st, any date, and then your premium isn't due until the 10th of that month. So also I like that is better with this plan versus traditional health insurance. Traditional health insurance, you typically pay for a premium 2 weeks before. So most people, if their premium or the plan obviously starts on the first of the month, for June 1st, they're paying that premium on May 15th. This you pay 10 days after you start having coverage. So I think that's pretty cool. Because if something happens on June, say you get coverage and it starts June 2nd or June 1st, and something happens on June 2nd, you can get your receipt, you can reimburse or submit that, and possibly be getting your first reimbursement right about the time you're getting your first premium charged. So makes it pretty easy. So any questions?